Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy, for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Ted, and today I'm hanging out with
Nerdx Dave.
And today we talk about Don't Let a Dragon Fanatic Ruin Your Game.
Drop down in the description where you can find Nerdarchy, the newsletter, game weekly tips, as well as to learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
Alright, so this was inspired by a conversation you were having with a fan?
Yeah, someone reached out to us on Facebook. Ernesto Rodriguez. And basically what he had to say was, he's like, I'm a dragon fanatic, and when I'm a player, I want to figure out how to play a dragon type character. Well, that's easy enough. You have Dragonborn. And when I'm a DM, I just want to put dragons all over the places. So this video is not really about dragons. What it's about is letting your inspiration take you and run the game you want to play. Why not build the campaign around what you love? If this guy loves dragons, I'm like, dude, there are two series that I can think of right off the top of my head, which are way more than that are like completely dragon-centric. And yes, there are many more than that, but Dragon Realms, all about dragons.
Yep.
I loved Richard Knack's take on those.
Absolutely.
And then also Dragonlance,
Yeah.
So, and then,
and that's like, what, a couple hundred novels?
Dragonlance, yeah. Between the two of those, you're gonna have a lot of reading you can do, and much of it. Well, I guess with Dragonlance, it's not so much. Once you get away from the original trilogy, it's a lot less dragon centric. But again, that's a whole campaign based around the War of the Lance, which is dragons. So. And
the actual companions, that was a game that they ran, wasn't it? Weren't those the actual player characters?
I don't actually remember. I don't know. That might have been in the annotated.
The annotated chronicles.
Yes.
Okay.
This is the word I was looking for. Where they actually do talk about things like in D&D terms.
Right.
But another series is Demon Wars, right? From R.A. Salvatore, which is set in his non-Wizards of the Coast setting.
Right.
And basically he does like 6 books about the Dactyl Demon. In some way or shape, it all leads back to the Dactyl Demon. Right. So it shapes a large portion of that world.
Now, the game is called Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
So dragons are a big part of the world, at least at its core. Now,
Dark Sun.
Dark Sun literally has dragon emperors, and that's kind of where I was.
No, there is no dragons in Dark Sun. They don't have real dragons in there. Dragon's actually a title.
The rulers of the individual cities, they're in the process of transforming into dragons, and that was one of the where I was getting to, like having draconic rulers are the positions of power, and there is no man's gonna overthrow, because you're not going to take down a dragon. And if you do, the bigger dragon's going to come in and beat you up.
I also pointed Ernesto into the direction of the Council of Worms as well, where you actually play as dragons.
Yes, that is a fantastic book. We've never delved too deeply into that
campaign
game
setting, yeah.
But it is definitely something that's cool to have and something to be able to use as a reference for a type of game like this.
Yeah, so anytime you can infuse one of your passions into your campaign setting, I think that's going to translate well into the game and into your other players. And if it inspires you, there's chances are it's going to inspire other people as well.
Right.
You're going to feel more creative. You're going to be more inspired to write stories, around your world, your campaign setting. It's going to be richer, better detailed. So these are all, good reasons to take whatever that thing is, whatever your weird fetish is, whether it's dragons or foxes or whatever, and build your game around it. You want, if you want the dominant race to be, this Roman Empire of Minotaurs, do that. You can always, most of the time, you can find ways to incorporate the other things your players want into that game as well.
Right.
After you come up with this overarching campaign setting, as long as you get buy-in from the players and like, yeah, play that, then run it, go for it.
One of the headaches of being a DM is the prep, and to make sure that you have everything in its right place and that you can handle whatever it is the players are going to do in that next session. And by being inspired by your campaign, by loving what it is that you're putting out there, it's not going to feel as much like work. It's not going to feel like, I'd have to get this done. You're going to want to do it because it's being inspired by something that you're really into.
The adverse effect of not doing that too is the fact that you're always like trying to rein in this passion you have and trying to not put it in the game. So that's going to like divert your creative energies as well, I think, and be like a drain on you creatively. So you're better off just owning it and going with it. Well, this is what I like. This is the kind of game I want to run. Dude, dragons will be falling out of the sky like nobody's business. It's just the way it is, or or whatever. Or maybe you're really in the Fae and the mischievous trickster type creatures, and your campaign world is going to be ridden with it. Maybe they're just commonplace in towns, and people have they deal with them like they deal with mosquitoes. It's just there. There's nothing you can do about it. Maybe in Labyrinth with the pixies, they bite. And he's going around. Yeah,
that's hysterical.
And there's another example. Like you're inspired by a movie, rip it off. Like maybe you want to run Labyrinth. Maybe you want to run your adventures out of the Goblin City.
Oh.
You could do a whole campaign on that. Why wouldn't you want to?
I mean, you technically ran a session related to that.
Absolutely.
Actually, technically, didn't you do it twice? Didn't you use Labyrinth in multiple ways?
I don't know that I did, but I definitely did it more recently after David Bowie passed away as my kind of like my little tribute to him.
Right.
So yeah, there's no reason to do that. You could run a campaign, like if that's what you want to do, run a campaign where all your players are goblins and they have to steal babies. Like that's their quests and their missions.
Well,
they have to deal with cats and dogs.
Well, that you could just run Kobolds Ate My Baby, but
you could do that. But eating babies is sick. Capturing them and bringing them back to the Goblin City to become goblins, not so bad.
No, that's true. So, what do you guys think? How do you either rein in your inspiration, or how do you let it run wild? Put it in the comments below. While you're at it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
You can find all of our social links down below in the description.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.